let's get this going here. We are going to do a little playthrough of the Squad Escape Room, number 4. This is the 4th edition in a long series of Squad Escape Rooms. Starting off on level 1 here, we're not going to have anything too crazy, just gears. Each person's going to need a different gear to open their door, so you have to pass those around, communicate about who needs what. Nothing crazy, nothing you haven't seen before. Level 2, there's going to be one switch for each player, and all 4 players are going to need to switch that flip that switch on at the same time, and that will open up the doors there. Then you'll be on to level 3. Each player is going to have an X marked on one of their 4 pedestals, and the color of that X indicates where your teammates need to stand. So the green player has the blue X that dictates where the blue player needs to stand. So kind of tell your teammates where their X is on which one of those 4 pedestals, and once all 4 people are standing on their correct marked X, the door will pop on open there. Level 4, each person is going to have a big old chunk of boulder blocking their doorway. And the crossbow alone doesn't deal enough damage to blow through that door. But when all 4 players shoot at one of the doorways at exactly the same time, or relatively the same time, it will blow that doorway open. So you and your squad mates are kind of going to have to help each other out, blow that door wide open. And here it actually took us a little bit because that rock was a stickler. He didn't want to go down. We got him here. And on to level 5. Personally, one of my favorite levels here. The purple player is going to have a rocket launcher, and all of the other players are going to have bounce pads that they can move around, and you're going to need to move these bounce pads around to bounce that rocket off them. You're going to need to also avoid the obstacles in your way so you can hit the blue player's button. Now that one's pretty tricky, and it happens really fast, so you're going to have to move those into the right positions. Level 6 here, going to be a little bit of a fishing level. Each person is going to have a different set of fish in their pond, and each person is going to have a certain obstacle that they need to cross or to overcome. And you're going to need to use different fish to do that. You're going to need your teammates' fish, and you can harpoon gun those through the grates. And it's kind of figuring out who needs what fish where, and really thinking about, all right, I got this problem, what fish can help me solve it. The blue player is going to need that cuttlefish to blow open the rock. You throw it on there and then pickaxe it. It'll blow the rock open. The yellow player is going to need a couple shield fish because they take damage when they go through that ventilation system. The green player is going to need a hop fish and a 0-point fish to clear that big old gap. And the purple player is going to need the 0-point fish to dash underneath the water. And it does take a little bit of finesse to get under that water. It's a little bit tricky. But I think most players should be able to do that pretty easily. And then once all 4 switches have been flipped, the water level will start to rise. And you'll begin to leave the sewer system. Popping up here to level 7. This level is a little reminiscent of the first Squad Escape Room, if you've played that one. Come up in this steampunk city here, and right away, if you look through your window, you're going to notice that there are numbers on the little billboard, and they're correlated to colors. All 3 players have that except for the yellow player. The yellow player is actually going to have some switches, and when you flip those switches on, it's going to light up the billboards, and you're going to need to look at what color your billboard lights up, and then you're going to need to look at the billboard inside of the room and see what number that color sequence correlates to. And then you're going to have to enter in a code based off those numbers. And the code is 358 for that one. That one's pretty tricky. It's almost like Morse code or something. It's not Morse code, but color codes. It's a tricky level, but I hope you liked it. On to level 8 here. You got some hungry customers in the restaurant, and the chef here is going to have to dish up some pizza, and you're going to have to locate the table that has no food on it and serve some pizza there. And once you do that, all the doors will pop open, and you'll be good to cruise on over to level 9. Now level 9, right away, you're going to have to break in through the elevator. And there's going to be, each player is going to have this sort of beam on the wall, and you're going to need to align all 4 of those beams on the top of the cylinder to create a circuit. And once you get all 4 of those connected, the doors will pop open. Level 10 here, there is going to be a harpoon gun or a tow hook cannon, and you're going to need to use that to tow hook the green player across these pools of lava. So you blast them across that, and once the green player gets over there, they will have a car that they can drive around. If that car ever does get stuck, you can reset it with the switch there. And then you're going to need to drive that car in front of these window openings so that the players can kind of Spider-Man grapple hook to the car, and then you can swing across that gap and get on over to the next level there. So the green player will then have to reposition the car in front of the other player's windows and get them on over there. And it'll just take a minute to get all of your team across. Slow and steady wins the race. As everyone gets on over there into level 11. Now this level is maybe one of the hardest levels on the map. I might add a skip button to this level, honestly, because it is wicked hard. But there's essentially going to be 3 rows of murderous barriers coming towards you. But each of the 3 players can only see one of the 3 different rows. And the player that's in that red box can't see any of them. So you're kind of going to have to work as a team to guide that player through this little maze of deadly barriers. Yeah, it's tricky. It just takes good communication. That's really all there is to it. You just need to have precise communication. A lot of times people will be throwing out all sorts of different stuff, being like, no, go back, go forward. Oh, no, stop. And it can get really confusing if you don't have a good group of articulate people. There's no trick to this level. It's not really a puzzle. It's just kind of like a little game. I have fun with it. I hope you like it, but I'm going to add a skip button to this level because in hindsight, this level is just a little bit tricky. Yeah, you just got to go through it. Some of those obstacles you're going to have to jump over. Some of them you're going to have to crouch under, weasel your way through. Watch out for those walls. And slow and steady, make your way through. And once all of those walls kind of get past you there will be a switch that kind of comes out of the wall. The switch comes a little bit after all the walls have made it. And once that switch pops on out, there you go. You'll be able to flip it, and you'll be on to level 12. One of my personal favorite levels here. Right away on level 12, you're going to have a Falcon Scout. One of the players is going to have a Falcon Scout, and that's going to be kind of the key item to bring items to the players. There's going to be these ventilation shafts that connect them. All of the other 3 players are going to have a piece of ore or rock on the wall that they can harvest to gain these materials, and they're also going to need a material to activate their forge. The player with the Falcon Scout is going to have to pick up those materials and bring the right material to the right player, because each player needs a different material to activate their forge, and you have to figure out who needs what material and fly it to them through those ventilation systems. This just takes a little bit of time. You gotta figure out who's in which vent, who needs what item, and fly it to them. It's a little difficult flying that Falcon sometimes too. It can definitely be tricky. And then once that material gets down to the players, you can pick up their other one. And once you do get that forge activated, you might be thinking, well, what does this forge do? It's moving, it looks cool. It actually kills you. So if you get anywhere near the forge, if the forge touches you, that giant thing, it's going to smash you into itty little bitty pieces. You're going to get crushed. And you might be like, yeah, this is bad. I just got murdered by this forge. That's actually exactly what you want to happen. You, surprisingly, want to get crushed by the forge. And once you do get crushed by the forge, there's a very interesting thing that can happen. The Falcon Scout is able to pick up players, but it's only able to pick up knocked players. So once you become knocked by that forge, you're going to be able to be picked up by the player with the Falcon Scout, And if you try to take them up through that ventilation system with the little lasers over it, you're just going to die. You can't go in that vent. But if you get knocked by the forge and you notice there's a different hole that goes up that does not have lasers over it, you're actually going to be able to bring the person up through that vent if you can get in there, because it is a little tricky navigating with that bird. You're going to need to use that to carry the player up and into the next level. Once the player gets up there, they'll automatically be revived. No trouble with that. And then you're going to have to do it again to the next player. Respawn that Falcon Scout, makes it a little bit quicker rather than going back through the vent. Grab your next knocked body, bring them on up, one at a time. Boom, there you go. That's 2 out of 3. Go back for the third. No man left behind. And it's a little tedious. I apologize. It just takes time. You gotta go to each one, grab them, bring them up. Bring them up. And here my teammate actually was running out of health, so we had to go back down and get her again. But you know what happens. Those type of things happen in escape rooms. You lose a teammate along the way. Gotta go back for him. Up and away. And once you get all 3 of those people open, the door will pop open for the player with the Falcon Scout. Nice and easy. And you'll have this little custom elevator to ride on up. Free little ride. Now, this level here is going to be an interesting one. The blue player has a button in the middle, but there are 3 cameras. Each player has a camera. And if any of those cameras sees the blue player, lasers will come up around the button and you won't be able to press it. So you're going to have to grab these boxes that are actually hidden behind a piece of metal. There's like a chunk of metal laying on the ground in the corner, and these boxes are like shoved back there. And you're going to need to stack these boxes up so that the camera cannot see into the blue player's room and see the blue player. So those boxes actually will block the sight line of the camera. And it's kind of tricky to stack these boxes up. You can't throw them on top of it. You actually need to hop into the box, hop on top of it, and then hop out of the box to make a stack. And if you're too close to objects, they can kind of bug out a little bit. So it can be kind of tricky. And you can kind of get stuck. And the box stack is going to need to be 3 tall, unless you can get it in a very specific spot. In some places you can make it 2 tall and have it blocked, but you're probably going to need all 3 of them to be 3 tall. And in order to do this, you're going to need to make a stack of 2, a stack of 1, and then you're going to need to hop on top of the stack of 2 and throw another box. And that can be a little tricky depending on where you are in the room, because the ceiling's only so tall. But everyone should be able to do it. Get that box on there, nice and easy. My teammates had a little bit of trouble with this. Big shout out to them. These maps really aren't possible without good people to help you play test them. So shout out to all my friends who helped me with that one. And yeah, get in those boxes. This level really took us a while. We were looking like fools out here. There we go. There we go. Got the box up there, and then we just need the purple player to get their boxes up. Any day now. And then all the lasers are down, and the blue player can press that button. Nice and easy. You'll then come into this little level 14, which is kind of like a library type level, weird steampunk library. There's going to be a bookshelf that each player can pickaxe. Bookshelf is going to have a little crack in it. You can maybe see through it a bit. If you pickaxe that bookshelf, it will slide open. And the player in the top right is going to have a bunch of shapes that they can shoot. And the shapes you're going to need to shoot is going to be the 6-sided star, the 8-sided octagon, and the 3-sided triangle. And those are going to be the shapes of the 3 rooms that all the other players are in. So if you notice, the shape of one of the libraries is a triangle, an octagon, and a star. So that's going to be the code. It's a tricky little one, abstract thinking there. Hopefully you can piece that together. And level 15, the final level, we're going to be in the greenhouse here, lots of plants and stuff. But right away, you're going to need to pickaxe this bomb flower and you need to pickaxe it so it hits the big old pile of rocks over there. You're gonna kind of need to angle a little bit, and that will blow open the water. Now, if you go in that water, you will die. It does 40 damage per second, so it's a bit. So you're gonna need to allow the top right player into the greenhouse, as well as the bottom left player into the greenhouse. Once they're both in there, the top right player can pickaxe that slurp cactus, as the Catwoman can't actually pickaxe the slurp cactus from in there. So you need to pickaxe that to get that guy's health all the way up to full, so that he is going to be able to swim through the water. Once you get that player up to full HP, he'll be able to swim in the water. Now, while that guy's swimming in the water, if you look top left, there's going to be an acorn hidden in the corner for the blue player, and that blue player can take the acorn and pass it over to the purple player, and the purple player can grab that acorn and pass it down to the yellow player. The yellow player is going to grab that acorn, drop it down that little hole, a little pile of dirt in the corner, and the yellow player is going to be able to plant that acorn in the center, and that acorn will pop on up. We'll come back to that acorn in a second. The green player is going to need to get healed up again by that slurp cactus, though, because he actually died in the water the first time, unfortunately. And I believe he dies a second time. Not sure how that happened. Unfortunate series of events, if I must say so myself. He's going to go back in. Michael Phelps out here doing the 50-meter swim. Sheesh. Nope, not making it that time. Unfortunate. So it is going to take a little bit of a jump there. You're going to need to do a jumping, diving motion. Yeah, apparently that's pretty tricky. He's going to have to get healed up by that slurp cactus for the third time. Third time of the night. Third time's the charm. That's what they always say. But let's see if it actually is the charm this time. I'm not sure if it is. Let's hope it is. Go back in there. Alright, let's see it. Oof, he's looking strong, off to a good start there. Swimming through the water with ease. That's what I'm talking about. Gold medalist performance right there. Once he gets over there, you're going to get that chug cannon, which you can use to heal yourself back up so you can swim back across, because that water is still toxic for some reason. Although he seems to be stuck again in the water, having some more difficulties. There we go, looking strong. And then you're going to need that chug cannon to water the acorn. And you'll see a nice little bean sprout tree, a little bonsai tree pop up there out of the dirt. That's exactly what we want. You just need to water it once. Then the blue player is going to want to turn that light switch on. And if you stop that light switch over the tree, it will pop up even bigger. And you'll be able to harvest wood planks out of it. And then if you drop those wood planks, the pink player will be able to pick them up. It's a little bit tricky to pick those up there, a little finicky. But once you get those, you can just mantle on up and pop the planks in. And that is Squad Escape 4. If you made it this far on the map, GG's. I appreciate y'all playing. Hope you liked it. And that's really all from me, y'all. Peace.